Is it OCD or is it overthinking? This is a question that so many people with OCD can get really stuck on. When we're looking for that certainty and we're trying to figure it all out, it can really keep us stuck in the trap of OCD. In today's episode, I'll be sharing 3 tips to help you discern whether it really is OCD or not. Remember, if you are struggling with OCD and anxiety and you would like some support, well, I offer a free discovery call. To get that, you can head over to my website, robertjamescoaching.com. There's a link in the show notes. So how do you know whether it's OCD or not? So often we get caught up in these cycles now, trying to figure things out. And it's so infuriating because we're not quite sure whether we should leave it alone and kind of give ourselves some space, or whether we should keep on thinking about it because actually maybe that thing is bad or dangerous or, immoral or terrible in some way. So, we should kind of think about it. And so, I think number one, the first thing that we need to bring to the table here is to recognize that OCD is always about looking for certainty. And so if you're trying to look for clarity about something, if you're not demanding 100% certainty, then, it may well be kind of overthinking. It may well be a kind of typical thought that you might have. But as soon as we bring that absolute determination to have, real certainty about that issue, to figure it out, to leave no stone unturned, then that's an indication that actually OCD has kind of taken over, and we're really demanding to have it all figured out. If that's the case, or that can be a clear sign that perhaps it's time to let it go. Number 2, you feel intense anxiety and urgency, and that is often coupled with the compulsion itself. So what is this all about? Well, really, when we're experiencing OCD, it's because we have difficult emotions in the body. We're experiencing anxiety, perhaps shame, guilt, all sorts of very uncomfortable bodily sensations. And, we don't want those things to be there. So what do? Well, we perform compulsions, because actually when you perform a compulsion, it gives you a kind of momentary false sense of control. It makes you feel slightly better for a very short time. And that's why we keep on doing compulsions. They're actually quite addictive because they do give you a bit of a payoff. You get a bit of a dopamine hit when you do a compulsion. But of course, we're not actually learning how to allow, to accept, to tolerate that discomfort, because we're always trying to artificially lower that discomfort in the short term. And what that does is that's basically sending this message to your subconscious mind that, when you're in these situations, when you're uncertain about things, well, you have to perform compulsions in order to feel better. And so it means that you're gonna do that the next time and the time after that, unless you can learn to kind of interrupt that cycle. So if you're finding that you're getting caught up in this kind of, this cycle of OCD where you're feeling that anxiety and then you're wanting to perform compulsions, well, that can be a very clear sign that actually it's OCD and it's not your kind of normal kind of thinking. And also, if you can learn then to interrupt that cycle right there, that's how you can really begin to change OCD over time. When you stop responding to these difficult emotions with, trying to figure them out or trying to push them away, over time you can begin to have a different relationship with them. And number 3, you've tried to solve it before, but it keeps coming back. And this is really, really typical in OCD. So often OCD follows a pattern, though, that we find ourselves getting really caught up in, our particular themes, things that we tend to think about. And, maybe we've been thinking about this particular problem, or maybe we've been thinking about a kind of thing that's related to it in some way, and we keep coming back to it. And so if there's a pattern there, if this is something that you've repeatedly thought about, if it's related to one of your themes in some way, if it's something that you often find yourself wanting to have certainty about, then again, that can be a really clear sign that this is OCD. And in fact, what you need to do instead is learn how to tolerate that discomfort, allow the anxiety to be there, and perhaps refocus your attention onto something else, something more productive, your values, your goals, rather than trying to kind of fix this thought. And, these 3 tips have been something that have really helped me to be able to manage my OCD thoughts more successfully. OCD is something that I've struggled with for a long time, since the age of 16. And thankfully today, I'm able to manage it really, really well. 6 years ago, I became a coach to help people with OCD and anxiety. And if you would like to get a free discovery call with me, well, you can by heading over to my website, robertjamescoaching.com. There's a link in the show notes. And please do subscribe. It really does help people who might need to find this content to actually find it. This video is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional mental health advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you are dealing with OCD, anxiety, or any mental health concerns, please consult a licensed mental health professional for support.